So for whatever reason, I was scrolling and I seen this in my timeline. I was like, I'm not watching more than 3 seconds of this. I gotta react to it. So I'm gonna let you know something before we go into this. I'm coming in with an open mind. I don't know what she's gonna talk about. This is going up. So if she talk about some crazy stuff and I agree with it, it is what it is. I know you think I'm supposed to just agree with dudes all the time, but listen, I have no idea what she's about to say. So I'm coming in with a complete blank slate and open mind, because she could really go and say some crazy stuff, but we don't know yet. This is gonna go up. Please like the vid. Let's get into it.
Learned a lot with dating. Like, I didn't know as much as I thought I knew. And specifically with men, men are trash out here. Like, it's bad. And I think definitely social media promotes it. I think definitely in black culture, which is unfortunate, the men that I've run into are so online too. Like, and they're listening to these male podcasts and all
Uh-oh. She's talking about us guys.
these things that these guys are trying to say is right, which is wrong. And it definitely goes into the dating pool and the way that they treat women. Now, I've said this in a video before, I'm going to say it again. There are men who don't like women. A good majority of men don't like women. They just want to use women as a whole. That's it. They don't want you to talk. They don't want you to have a voice. They don't want you to speak. They don't want you to have a mind or brain. So, yeah, a bimbo would be way better for them. But at the end of the day, is that what you want to be? No. Because I'm telling you, glory and gold is
Let me just say personally, I hate brain dead chicks, but we gonna let her cook.
not everything, and it may not look like everything, especially if a man, you see, all right, he's giving his girl this and his girl that, which is something that they show on social media a lot. Kirk and Rashida and all that, like, they show men giving all these gifts and everything like that, a lifestyle. Yet I'm telling you, it's just a lifestyle for you to cry in. Like, it's not really anything that you want. So I definitely realized a lot. And speaking with people that I know and people that I don't know about dating in general or about relationships definitely shows me, like, do I want to be delusional and be with somebody who's not meant for me, or I'm not into physically, I'm not attracted to whatsoever? Or do you want to be with somebody who you are physically into, but they are a DV person, they are verbally abusive, they're physically abusive? Do you want that either?
And see, this is the dilemma. The first thing we gonna adjust or address is she was projecting when she was talking about guys being online and watching vlog, because that's what she does. That's what she does. She is online, and I guarantee you, she didn't say she's online, but she's online having some of these conversations with women. So she is in an echo chamber over there, and she's seeing women say similar things and et cetera, et cetera. But the second thing is the dilemma she is talking about is why women go through the cycles that they go through and when how they end up. Because when they're young and stuff like that, they want the fun guys, they want the physically attractive guys. And when it comes down to it, that's just a fundamental flaw with most chicks. The fundamental flaw is they are innately attracted to guys that are bad for them. We're talking about bad boys. We're talking about jerks. We're talking about criminals. We're talking about killers and things of that nature. Because you got white chicks who like Jeffrey, that like they was really trying to get Jeffrey Dahmer and Marilyn Manson and stuff like that. And they're serial killers, but when you look at black women, it's more like, okay, let me mess with the drug dealer or the killer or something like that. And not saying that she has messed with any of those, because I know she's a black woman on the screen. I'm generalizing. And even then, that's extreme. I'm just saying, like, because the jerk and the nice guy thing, it doesn't have anything to do with violence necessarily. But I'm just going down the spectrum of women liking guys who are not good for them and things like that. You could also look at the fact that they are attracted to, not just social proof, but pre-selection. When you are pre-selected, that means other women want you. And typically guys that a lot of women want mess with a lot of women. So what are you going to be messing with? You're going to be messing with a womanizer, a player, somebody who can't just be with one woman because he is feeding his appetite by knocking a bunch of chicks down. So This is not and she's having this, thought process consciously because her and these other women have realized how they are. They have realized how they are. I didn't go into the whole thing like, when they hit their late 20s, that's when they start looking for a safer mate and things like that. Somebody who is going to who's going to provide and be stable and things like that. But her and these people, as far as these other women she's having conversations with, they're coming to a conscious realization. But as far as what they are attracted to and things of that nature, as far as these bad guys, that is subconscious. That is something that they can't control. It's just in them to gravitate towards those guys. So just remember that when she gets into all this men are trash stuff, she is low key admitted and associated, attractiveness with guys who are doing DV or just all types of other stuff that is bad. But the guys that she's not attracted to are the safer guys. So the safe guys can't be trash, right? So it's not really that men are trash. It's really that you guys are built to be attracted to trash. That's just what it is. And there won't be any accountability, I can guarantee you that. But let's continue.
Also baggage. When I was in college, we didn't date with people with baggage, like which is kids. I'm calling kids baggage. They're baggage. I'm sorry, but if you are in your 20s, kids are baggage, especially if you are not with the person. And I was at a point with somebody who had kids where it's still at that point where I'm just like, go be miserable. That's how I am. I'm at the point where I'm like, go be miserable with the life that you set up for yourself to be miserable with. It's unfortunate though that men like that who have kids in a crappy marriage or a crappy divorce or whatever it is, they reach out into the world and they go into people who have good grace in their life and are happy, and they really try to bring you down. So that's why I'm really all for saying to women, do not date a man with kids if kids is something that you don't want.
I'm gonna just say, as a single guy in my 30s, most of these chicks got kids. So that advice is gonna fall on like five chicks. Now she's talking about in her 20s and stuff like that, because I'm pretty sure that's where she is, and she's probably because she's been through university, so she's in her late 20s. And again, this is the transition phase from the party years into the okay, it's my fertility years are running out. Let me get a solid mate. That's where she is at in her development. Being that she mentioned 20s, I'm going to assume that she's in her 20s. She's not 30 yet, so she's more than likely in her mid to late 20s. Let's continue though.
Also, just try not to date a man with kids. I used to be so understanding and stuff, but when you think about it, will a black man, let's say black man, because this is the black culture, baby mama culture, baby daddy culture is black culture. It's very unfortunate. It's not cute. I will not have my future kids be doing that. I will not have myself doing that. I will take my birth control. I will keep doing the right things. I'm not even having intimacy. Like, I'm celibate right now.
Sure.
And still, I take my birth control because I'm not playing that. I'm not playing that. Too many women are just popping out men and their kids and they like no, no. That means you don't value yourself at all. Honestly, if you have kids by a man that you don't like, I don't care what people want to say about the church. I could care less what these white people got to say in the church that are running you around since slavery. Like, let's talk about it. That's one thing I've dealt with. I've dealt with in the dating scene men who have like secrets, which is gross. I've dealt with men who hide their kids. I've dealt with men who hide their marriages. I've dealt with men who even hide their financial status. Like, they're broker than they say they are, which is like frustrating because like I have my moments where I'm broke. I have an apartment. I have rent to pay. New York is not cheap. New York is not cheap. You see all these other YouTubers and they're in like the North Carolinas or South Carolina, Georgia, Utah. They're in these states that don't nobody care about. And no offense, but I'm just saying those states, the rent ain't that bad. The rent ain't that bad compared to what New York has going on. It's
Well, the first thing I'm going to say is the rent everywhere is bad. Let's just get that out the way, man, because I live in an area where the rent is lower than a lot of other places. And in comparison to what it was and what the cost of living out here is, it's bad. So that's the first thing. Because, and let me get to the second thing. And if you're from New York, I want to say no offense, but if you like one of those people who just you can't think past your fucking city, you can't even think about Buffalo, New York. You can't even think about Syracuse, New York. You can't think about Philly. You just think the whole world revolves around New York. I hate you motherfuckers, man. I hate motherfuckers who can't who just like if they hear you from the Midwest, oh, it's country. If they hear you from the South, oh, it's country. And they don't really encounter people from the actual West Coast and stuff like that. But people in New York, a lot of people, not all of them, they lack humility and they think that the world revolves around them. That's a topic for another day. And if you want me to get into that, it's not even a man and woman thing. It's just like a people thing. I fucking hate that shit. But yeah, the world doesn't revolve around NYC. Y'all got all that crazy rent. Y'all fucking mayor is corrupt and shit. He about to go to jail. Y'all just got trash cans. And then y'all wonder why the rats is fucking high fiving in the subway, in the streets, in your crib. Like they just every fucking where. Casanat had a big ass rat run across the fucking room and his shit. And if that was anywhere else, it would be like, bruh, what the fuck? Like, why is a rat in your. But in New York, it makes sense. We not even gonna go that deep because I know y'all like, oh man, what the fuck? But listen, rent is bad everywhere. Let me say it again just so people who are in New York City, all three of you or however many of y'all say, rent is bad in Chicago. Let me not even say state cities. Let me say states in Illinois, in Ohio, in Pennsylvania. Cali is outrageous. Florida is bad. Like everywhere, rent is fucked up. The economy is fucked up and stuff like that. But this is the funny thing. Like she mentioned dudes hiding, they wives and they kids and stuff like that. I understand it, but when we talk about hiding your finances and stuff like that, why is that your business? We know why you think it's your business. We know why you think it because you want a provider. You were at the point where you were beginning to want a provider. In college, you more than likely didn't care if a motherfucker had money. Now it's like, oh, he gotta have some chicken. He gotta be able to pay some bills. X, Y, fucking Z. And let me just keep it real, because women can't empathize with this. They can't. They don't understand it. At the end of the day, if you are a guy trying to get buns and you think that you being broke or you having a certain situation financially is gonna be to your detriment, hell yeah, you gonna hide that. Hell yeah, you gonna hide that. I talk all the time about how broke dudes get babes and stuff like that, and I'm gonna give you two things. Number one, some guys hide it because at the end of the day, women don't really give a fuck about that when they're actually attracted to you. So just hold on to that because I'm gonna bring it right back on the second one. And the second thing is some guys openly let a chick like it'll just be obvious. It'll be on the surface. He will be like, "Come scoop me from my mom crib," or like, "Oh yeah, yeah, I don't work. I don't got a job. I'm unemployed right now." Da-da-da-da. Like whatever he got. Are you receiving unemployment? Nah, they denied me. So what you got going on? Shit, I'm just looking for another job. Like shit. And listen, that might be a red flag for a chick. That might turn her off. But listen, in a lot of cases, let's go back to what I told you to hold on to. If a guy is letting that be known, more than likely he has pre-selection. More than likely he's knocked down a plethora of chicks. More than likely he even has a type of game to where he could get a chick to give him the bag or give him some money. Because at the end of the day, let's get what I told you to hold on to. Women don't care about that shit as far as money when it comes to actual attraction. That is the last thing that gets raw, organic attraction. When they look at you as a provider male that does not make their coochie wet, they will use their coochie to get security, but they are not necessarily attracted to you like they're attracted to the muscle man or the funny guy or the high status motherfucker who they are fucking fighting and clawing through bodyguards to throw that pussy on Chris Brown, Justin Bieber, who the fuck ever. They don't even want nothing from those motherfuckers. They just want to get fucked. But let's continue, man. We going a little too deep.
It's awful. New York said you could possibly get a job. We're gonna raise the rent. We're gonna raise the rent 1,000 times higher. Like, it's insane. So it's like, for me, going on a date with a man and you can't provide just for that date, you can't provide after that date, I'm not settling for that. And you shouldn't settle that for that either. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, as a black woman, I'm paying rent. As a black woman, I'm paying my loans off. As a black woman, I have to pay for my car. As a black woman, I have to pay for everything in my life, and I get life 10 times harder than the average woman. It hits me 10 times harder than the average woman, and I still somehow manage to do it. So for me, when it comes to going on dates and a man is just like, I want to split the bill, do this and that, we're not splitting the bill. If you can't cover the bill, we're not going out.
And let me keep it a bean with you. This is how come dudes fuck with white chicks or just all other types of races and shit. Let's look at what she just said, because she threw all that black shit in there, right? So she thinks she gets it like way harder than everybody else and stuff like that. That's cool. That's cool. Whatever. We could even pretend that's valid. Cool. All right. You the most oppressed in the fucking universe. Okay. In America. Okay. Fuck the niggas in the coal mines and shit like that. Like, the blood diamond motherfucker. No, you got it the worst. Okay. She just went on about how hard it is in New York, how hard it is for her as an individual, how hard it is. She even mentioned job markets and things like that. Like, she mentioned how it is hard for her and people in New York. Yet the standard she still has is you have to come and pay for my shit. You have to come and pay for all the dates. You have to come and pay for these meals. And after that, when we get together, you're going to have to pay these bills. Because trust me, if money matters this much to her, if it matters this much to her, then she is going to expect you to carry the financial weight in her life, even though she has admitted that she is struggling and shit is not good. Like, motherfucker, you can't be struggling either.
We're not going out. We're not. And for me too, let's talk about going out on dating apps. I've been able to weed out the bad ones. Like, I'd rather talk to nobody, right, nowadays, than talk to anybody. I've learned. It's way better to have an inbox of 0 than have an inbox of 10 chicken heads. It's really not worth it, because that's honestly what men do. Men are okay with having an inbox full of chicken heads. People that they don't even like. Like, just like, that's what I'm just saying, like, just the device for them, just the tool. And you have to understand when you are being that tool in their inbox as well. Like, I had to understand that. I had to see that in a relationship that I was in. It wasn't great. It wasn't fun. But once I saw it, I then had the option to, what am I going to do? How am I going to figure out this person? Because they were, like, pretty, like, mentally abusive, I would say. And they played mind games. They were never straightforward. They were conniving and evil. And it was weird. But that's something that I was dealing with. But let's talk about men that go out. So on dating apps, I assess the pictures. Let's talk about the pictures real quick. What are the pictures? If you see a man that has their shirt off and they not out in the field playing football, they not at the beach, I'm not giving them grace. I give you grace if you at the beach. Yeah, fine. That's a fine thirst trap. You can do that. That's all right. But if they're just taking photos in the bathroom with their shirt off, if they're taking photos in the gym with their shirt off, if they're taking photos just literally like at the mall or in their car with their shirt off, they're hoodlum. I said it. I don't care.
Hey, listen. We may criticize women a lot. We may talk a lot. But, I sprinkle game here and there. This right here, you got to pick up on this, man. You got to soak this up real quick, man. You got to take this in. You got to take this feedback, man. This is good feedback, I'll be honest. because when it come down to it, some of y'all listening to this have probably considered getting on Buddy Stream and taking off your shirt and doing a 360 for him and shit like that. So he could tell you that you got to get in the gym more. Or, oh, you in good shape and shit like that. Whatever, whatever. If you're gonna do that, make sure the setting is right. It's that simple, man. If you're gonna be on these dating apps, you gotta understand. Fuck what your bio say. Fuck, getting Tinder Gold or anything like that. You should watch my video on all that shit. You gotta have the right pictures. And I'm gonna just leave that there. Let's continue.
No reason for that. And then secondly, it says that they want sex. And I know YouTube is probably going to strike this down, but whatever. It says that they want to hunch. It says that they want the cooch. It's not telling a woman like, oh, I'm hot. It's not. And if you're a guy on a dating app and you put shirtless pictures up, just know no one's going to take you seriously. And if that's what you want, then that's what you want. But at the end of the day, you're not really going to get anybody. That's just something that I think.
I'm gonna tell you, that's a whole lie. That's a whole lie. Them dudes is definitely getting some babes. Just trust me on that. Even some of the dudes taking them joints in the bathroom or in the car with their shirt off or wherever they might be with their shirt off in their room. Some of those guys are still getting babes. I keep it a beam, bruh. I get babes, or I used to get babes on day naps. I don't even be on them no more like that. But because I already told y'all to play. If you go watch my videos, I told y'all to play, man. Social media is where it's at. But listen, I already know dudes with their shirt off, if you actually had muscles, they was fucking the game up, man. Stop it. Cut it out. If you don't want to fuck with it, that's cool. But we also have to remember where you were at in your development. You said at the top, do I want somebody who I'm actually attracted to that's abusive and all this stuff? Or do I want a good guy that I'm not attracted to at all? That's where you at. You trying to find a long-term mate. You don't want to have sex. You are air quote celibate. You said you're celibate and you want guys to pay for dates. So that is where you are at in your development. Women who are actually on there looking for sex, those exist. They will be down to fuck those guys. That's just what it is. And I'm going to leave it there, man. It's a whole bunch more of this video. If you want me to do a part 2, let me know, because she keep going. And I actually like this because it's better than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be like, oh, man, I got kicked down some steps. I thought it was going to be something crazy like that. It's just about dating, so that's cool. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on go.